Hi, I'm Eve and I use any pronouns.
And I'm Phoenix. I use they, them pronouns.
And this month we're discussing Off With Their Heads by Zoe Hana Mikuta.
Yes,
Woo!
we are.
As you can probably tell by our sheer joy saying the title,
Yeah.
we hated it.
This is my lowest rated book we've ever done on this show.
I don't know if it's my lowest.
It's 0.1 lower than Red Scholar's Way.
I thought that was your rating was 0.1.
No, thankful. Can you imagine?
Actually, this is
it's not
higher
that
than
bad.
Red Scholar's Week. To be fair, I DNF'd that.
I was going to say
So-
the difference is that I read the entirety of Red Scholar's Way.
Yeah, that's fair.
I suffered through the whole fucking thing.
I applaud you. I couldn't get past the sex scene.
That was bad.
I could do it.
If you want to hear about that horrific sex scene, go listen to our episode about Red Scholar's Way.
Yeah.
It was November, October,
Never.
September last year.
Oh, it was before
was-
Bookshops and Bundos. So it must have been November.
It must have been November.
Must have
then.
been. Oh, it
I
was.
blanked it from my brain.
It was the fall before the height or whatever. That was Bookshops
Yeah.
and Bundos.
Yeah. Quite.
Anyway, yeah. This was a book.
It was.
It was a book.
We'll just do I'm going to read
General.
from the blurb.
Please
of the
do.
book,
Please.
and
Yes.
then we will discuss some things.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, God.
So it's described on the blurb as a Korean-inspired Alice in Wonderland retelling about two very wicked girls forever bonded by blood and betrayal. In a world where saints are monsters and Wonderland is the dark forest where they lurk, it's been 5 years since young witches and lovers Carousel Rabbit and Ichadora Alice Sickle were both sentenced to that forest for a crime they didn't commit, and 4 years since they shattered one another's hearts, each willing to sacrifice the other for a chance at freedom. Now, Caro is a successful royal saint harvester living the high life in the glittering capital and pretending not to know of the twisted monster experiments that her beloved Red Queen hides deep in the bowels of the palace. But for Ika, the memory of Caro's betrayal has hardened her from timid girl to ruthless hunter. A hunter who will stop at nothing to exact her vengeance on Caro, on the Queen, on the throne itself. But there's a secret about the saints the Queen's been guarding, and a volatile magic at play, even more dangerous to Ika and Caro than they are to each other.
From
I
the
would like to
blurb-
start with one thing.
Yeah.
This is not Alice in Wonderland.
It's not a retelling. The
It
only
is not
like
Alice in Wonderland.
the only part of this story that's semi Alice in Wonderland is the names. But why didn't they
literally just names.
Why didn't they just name the characters Alice, Cheshire, or whatever Ika was named after? I can't remember.
Ika is Alice.
Ika is Alice. Then who's Carousel?
Rabbit. The rabbit's a
Oh,
white rabbit.
just
from the
name
start.
her Rabbit.
She is Caro Rabbit.
Then why?
Do you know-
why the first names?
No.
Just go with the middle
See,
names.
I went the opposite direction.
Uh-huh.
My immediate thought upon finishing this book was that would have been better if it had just been a totally original fantasy world.
I agree.
Instead of this weird, like, oh, it's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
You've just taken some words from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And applied them to this and gone, look, I've done an Alice in Wonderland retelling.
You're
No.
calling the forest Wonderland. It's not really Wonderland, though. I
Yeah.
don't quite understand where
Yeah, so we've got
was.
Ichadora Alice Sickle, who is obviously Alice, but she gets called Ika the
A lot.
entire book.
I hate
We
that
have
name.
Carousel Rabbit, who gets called Caro the entire book.
Yeah.
We have the Red Queen, who is both like the Queen of Hearts,
Mm-hmm.
but also the Mad Hatter. Right?
Yeah.
Because her name's Hattie, she hosts
Yeah.
the tea parties, she's the Mad Hatter.
But yeah.
And then we also have Mordecai Cheshire, or
Mm-hmm.
I can't even fucking remember his name.
Yeah.
Who is
Kai.
Cheshire the Cat and has the ability to like turn himself fucking invisible and intangible and all this bullshit. And there's like the Saints, which are these like weird. They used to be people, and then they got like this massive spell cast on them to save the world from the
Something.
plague or whatever. And they have all like turned into these creepy monsters, and those are assorted other characters. Like there's one that's called Dorma Aus, the Dormouse.
Yeah.
There's I can't remember their names in the book, but Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Yeah.
It was just unnecessary. It was just like... It would have been better if you'd just written this as an original fantasy book.
Yeah, that would have made it more exciting.
I'm not going to lie, I do kind of wonder if maybe Zoe Hana Mikuta did write this as an original fantasy book.
And then
struggled to get it picked up.
And retellings are very popular.
Exactly. And so changed some stuff and started marketing it as a retelling, and that's what got it picked up by a publisher. This is a conspiracy theory.
That's a fair assumption.
I have no evidence for this.
That is a fair assumption, though, because
either way, it is not a retelling.
Yeah,
or good. You're right.
It isn't good.
It's not a good book.
Unfortunately, because from the blurb, it sounds intriguing, at least, because I love myself some toxic lesbians, but it's just not intriguing at all, and nothing happens. How many pages is it? 400 and something.
Something like that.
Yeah. I've read shorter books with more intrigue.
Yeah. We will talk about all of this, of course. But first, because it's Hearth and Tome Tavern, we have drinks. Well, Eve has a drink.
I have a drink.
I forgot. I'm not going to lie. I forgot.
It is fine.
I was so uninspired by this book that I forgot to make a drink. But then I did find in my fridge a can of London Essence Co. White Peach and Jasmine crafted soda.
Delicious.
And I thought, you know what? That'll do.
That'll do.
I'm not going to pretend to you guys, listeners, that I, planned anything. I forgot. This book was so bad. It did not inspire me in the slightest.
That is fair.
What did you... what's your drink?
I made a drink. For the first time. But I didn't base it off of this. I based it off of Wonder of Wonderland. I'm calling it Caramel Apple, which is a vanilla apple tea. I will, once upon a time, will finally do a coffee, because I am drinking coffee along with my tea this morning. Because I need that caffeine intake. Because, I don't know why in the ingredients I have written a teapot. But I have. But you need you need a teapot apparently. You need a vanilla tea bag, you need apple juice, and you need cinnamon sticks, and ice, and you put them all together and you boil them up. You let the tea cool down, because I kind of like it with being quite cold. I put ice in it. It's very delicious. And especially you serve it in a little teapot. It's very cute.
Tea also, appropriate for Alice in Wonderland tea parties and all that good shit. Yeah.
It tastes very much like caramel apples you get at Halloween. It's tasty.
Caro.
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 That's how it's tied in.
Yeah. There we go. I really...
Oh,
yeah.
God. My other defense is that I finished this book 5 days ago.
I don't even remember when I finished this.
It took me a while to read.
Same. I just remember... Did I text you? I'm so sorry.
I think you did, yes. Yeah. And I messaged you on Saturday morning when I finished it. Eve, I fucking finished it. I'm free.
You fucking did it. I just... Oh. And also, I found out there is an audiobook now, which I found. But where is the fucking ebook? The ebook is still not there.
This is the weirdest thing.
We had to buy the book, by the way, because
we had to actually buy a hardback of this book. Well, you.
Me. I sacrificed myself.
And now you're going to sacrifice somebody else.
Yeah, I'm going to give it away or to a charity shop. Goodbye.
Just make sure they don't listen to this episode before you give it to them.
I might just put a post-it note in it. I'm so sorry.
It was quite interesting because obviously you'd read it first. There were little pages with folded corners.
Yeah.
Where you'd found something that was particularly bad.
Did you agree with my
my
dog-eared pages?
Oh, absolutely.
Yay.
But because you told me beforehand that those were things that you'd particularly not liked, it meant that as I was reading it, I'd see a corner folded coming up and I'd be like, oh god, what's gonna happen?
The internal dread, just because I didn't want to use my book tabs, my precious multicolored aesthetic book tabs. I was like, I'm gonna fucking fold the pages.
I will say the cover of this book's kind of cool.
I do like the cover, but why is her hair green? Is it green? Or blonde. It looks kind of green.
One of them's blonde.
Off with their heads.
I think it's just because it's a blue background, and I don't know. Anyway.
Oh no, it looks green.
The cover's probably the best part of the book.
Yeah. I really like the crows. Big fan.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
We'll get into all of this.
Yeah.
First, I suppose we should talk about Compile. Because as ever, we use Compile to write our books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Originally created by Book Roast on YouTube. What we do is we break down the book into 7 different categories, give each category a score out of 10, add them all up, divide by 7, get ourselves a sweet average. The categories are characters, atmosphere / world building, writing style, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. Eve, what was your overall score?
2.7.
Mine was 2.3.
I'm bigger than you.
I'm the big boy now.
I'm the big boy now. I have a higher. This never happens.
I think as well. I rated this. I did this like right after I finished reading
That's fair. It has been a
so
while.
I think there's probably like a recency bias in my rating of I've just finished it and I fucking hated it.
It took me a couple days to even think of it, and then it's been a couple weeks since then, so probably my feelings have probably changed.
You've probably mellowed out on it a bit, whereas I wrote this fresh with the hatred
fresh
in my
with
heart,
rage. I fucking finished it, Eve.
I really didn't like this book.
No. Who did? I have seen a couple 5 stars of it on
There's always
Goodreads.
fucking 5 stars, aren't there?
And I don't understand how this is a 5-star book.
What I thought was very
I
interesting
don't get it.
when I looked through the reviews on Storygraph was that the vast majority of the reviews where people have actually written a review are 3 stars or lower.
Yeah. There's the occasional 5-star nothing.
Yeah, there's a few that are higher ratings, but they haven't given any explanation. And no offense, but I don't trust that shit.
No, I think mine on Storygraph was a 2 or something, and then I just wrote so much because I will always be a hater.
Yeah, I also gave it a 2.
Yeah,
on Storygraph
because it's not like Red Skull.
It does have an average rating on Storygraph of 3.5, so it's not got a lot of people who are like, "Oh my god, it was incredible."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not been good. And if you read it, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you did find an ebook of it, if you did read it.
Yeah.
Or some digital copy. Because,
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend wasting money on the hardback.
No. I wouldn't. Who would do that?
What sort of idiot would do that?
Who would do that?
Okay. Let's actually...
Let's go into it.
Let's compile this. Yeah. Characters.
2.
Oh, I gave it a 1.
It's only because I semi-liked Kai. In the barest sense.
Uh-huh.
He was
he was the most, vaguely normal person in the book.
He was just kind of there.
And even then he's a freak.
Yeah, he's just a little guy. He's a little freaky guy. Okay? Yeah. And he gets tortured. He's in, 3 chapters. One he's introduced. 2, he's tortured. And 3, he fucking leaves or dies or something.
I think he's still in the fucking prison at the end.
Oh, they just left him there.
I think so. I think does he not go a little bit mad?
Yeah, because
I'm pretty sure there's that bit where he
plucks his eyeballs out.
Yeah.
And then reattaches them somehow.
Yeah,
Magic. I don't understand her magic, at all.
I don't understand anything in this book.
No.
Do you know, I did see somebody in the review say that this book was incomprehensible.
Oh,
and I think that's a very good word to describe it.
Absolutely. Because it's just I don't understand the namings. I would also like to say, can we please stop calling it a Jabberwocky? It's a Jabberwock. There's no Y in it. Jabberwocky is the name of the poem. The Jabberwock is the name of the actual creature. Also, it's a creature, and I don't understand why they were calling the hunters Jabberwockies.
It's just because, again, they've just slapped an Alice in Wonderland
term, and it's just
on it. They've just themed it very vaguely around Alice in Wonderland.
And then if they were sticking with the name thing, if they kept doing the name thing, why did they call them saints and not what is it called? It's similar to the Jabberwocky. It's what is it called? Bandersnatch or something. Or is it Bandersnatch actually in it? I don't know.
Again, it's just
slapping names on stuff.
I think as soon as you start to think about the Alice in Wonderland-ness of it, you quickly realise that it's not
so,
even vaguely.
It's
It's
water.
It's just names.
Yeah.
It is so surface level.
Yeah. That
It's
yeah.
It's not good.
Not good at all.
The notes I've written for the characters section are as follows. I hate the edgelord shit. I really hate the edgelord shit. That's it. That's all I wrote. I cannot fucking stand characters who are supposed to be like complicated or morally grey or vicious or whatever, and they're just
not.
teenagers being edgy and be like, oh, we're so cool.
We're so cool.
Oh, we hate everybody. We're gonna go and kill the queen. Oh, we're so cool. Fuck that. That is not good writing. It is not interesting. It's not compelling. The characters aren't interesting. There's nothing good about it. You've just taken, like, that teenager that everybody fucking knows in secondary school, who's like a total fucking twat.
Yeah.
Who thinks that they're really cool because they hate everything. Except that they're not doing it in, like, an emo way. They're just doing it in, like, a stupid, like, edgelord, like, I'm too cool for this and I'm gonna fuck everything up sort of way. And they just look really sad and pathetic. And that's all... I hated it. I hated the characters so fucking much.
It was purely the line, we're such vicious and cruel creatures.
Oh,
it was said so often.
I hate it.
Like, why did you give them a catchphrase?
Stand characters who have to keep saying,
we're vicious.
We're such monsters.
We're so evil. Look at us go. We're so toxic baddies. No, you're not. Go to bed.
No. I really hope as well that the teenagers this book is supposedly written for also hate that.
I fucking hope so. It's not going to be like...
I am aware that, like, I am not the target audience for this book.
Oh, God,
right?
no.
I know this. I know this for a fact. I'm about 10 years too old for this book to be, like, aimed
But
at
even
me.
then, it should be
even then, I should be able to read it and not be like, oh my god, I fucking hate these people.
Like, these aren't written as, like, good teenagers should be written.
No, they're just bad. They're just really, really bad.
There is no, like, I could not pick a motivation out of a lineup here. Out of any of these characters.
No!
Even Hattie didn't seem to have one. And,
Hattie's motivation is because I want to.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm the queen and I want to do this, so I'm going to do this. Carol's motivation is I'm a little fucking freak. And Ikka's motivation is because I want to.
Yeah. I don't understand why...
Her whole thing is I'm going to kill the queen because the previous queen 5 years ago
died.
Accidentally let a saint loose.
Yeah.
And that saint killed Ikka and Carol's friend.
Yeah.
And they got blamed for the death. And so I'm going to kill the current queen.
Yeah, but then the current queen body snapped her.
Would have been vaguely tangible, except for the fact that she spends the whole time being like, oh, we always talked about how we were going to kill the queen and how we were going to overthrow the throne when we were kids.
Suddenly,
and
besties.
Now Caro's abandoned that, and I'm like, oh.
Doesn't make sense. And I didn't really understand why Hattie's mum body snatched her own daughter's body.
She didn't body snatch her. They combined.
They combined.
Their souls.
Gotcha.
They created like a new thing. They
basically sainted themselves.
A shitty version of fucking Lictorhood.
Oh my god. Read Gideon the Ninth. It's better than this shit. They actually do the body combination right. I love you, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the whole like secret that Hattie has is that she's not really the original Queen Hattie November Cool or whatever the fuck her name
I
is.
fucking hate those names.
Because her mother
was October or something?
Died and people thought that Hattie had killed her, but what actually happened was that Hattie and her mother, like, because Hattie's magic is that she's able to like stitch two creatures together.
Mm-hmm.
And so her and her mother like stitched their souls together so that they wouldn't have to live without each other.
Ugh, no.
And then her mother's like empty soulless body fell down the stairs and everybody thought that it was Hattie.
Everyone thought it was her.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's like her secret is that she's not really Hattie, but she is also kind of Hattie because like she's been this Hattie for like years now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Why
so
should
what?
I care?
So fucking what?
So what? Like, why did they even do it? I don't see why the mother and daughter
What
even
was
liked
the point
each
of
other.
that? What did that achieve for the plot? What
Exactly.
did that achieve for character motivations? What did that achieve for literally anything?
It would have been
Nothing.
better if she'd actually
It had
killed
no
her mum.
meaning. I think there was almost an interesting thing going on where we kept having little flashbacks where it was quite hard to tell whether or not she had pushed her mother.
Yeah.
Because there's a flashback where it sounds like she has just pushed her mother, and where it sounds like she's reveling in having just pushed her mother.
Yeah.
And then there's another flashback in which it sounds like she's not pushed her mother and that she's upset that people think she has.
Yeah.
And that was almost an interesting thing. And then they go, oh, but actually, it wasn't even her mother. It was just an empty body.
Don't care.
Ah!
Shut up. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. In terms of characters, I hated everybody.
I hated
None of
everyone.
them were interesting.
I
As you
didn't-
say, Cheshire Kai was like the
semi-okay.
least annoying.
He was the least
but I think that's
objectable.
mainly just because he wasn't in the book that much.
Yeah, and he made a poison one time and was just kind of there. I also didn't understand the tea party, but we'll get to that. Because what the fuck? And they arrived at a tea party and I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I didn't understand this whole obsession as well that Caro and Ika had.
What, with each other?
Yeah.
No.
I
God,
don't
no.
understand that. Like, sure,
I
they
hate
dated.
this stuff. I truly, truly hate this stuff.
Yeah.
Where we are told over and over again,
They're obsessed.
bludgeoned with this thing of like, they're so in love.
They're still in love. They love each other.
Oh,
and
they
it's
hate each other, but they really love each other.
And multiple characters even say, but you guys were loved each other. You still do. And I'm like, no, they don't. They fucking despise each other. Leave them be.
Yeah. I cannot stand, like, relationships like that.
Me neither.
I think it's so badly done in this particular instance. But also, it's so stupid. It's so annoying. They even when they're like, when we have those like bits at the start of the book when they're younger, just before their friend dies, then they're still not like, they still don't feel like they're like in love. They're just doing that stupid thing that fucking teenagers do, and we've all fucking seen teenagers do it, especially teenagers online,
Oh, God.
where
Yeah.
they're like obsessed with each other. They're obsessed with their partner.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're gonna be together forever, and then like 2 months down the
Toxic.
line they've broken up. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we all know those people
They
who are
despise
like,
each other.
they cannot spend time without each other, and they're always like, they're obsessed with each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
And then there's some clash and they fall out and that's it. They never talk about each other again, or
they
do
hate
talk
each
about each
other
other, but it's about how
so-
horrible the other person was to them.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking stand this. I hate shit like that.
Me too.
And I just...
It's the
what was the
chronically online
point
kind
of
of...
it in this book. What it is, it's chronically online.
Yeah. It's
And I just don't
behaviour.
get what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to do for this book.
Especially because they don't have internet. No, I'm kidding.
What
They
is
have no
this
Wi-Fi
internet?
connection. Hattie turned off the Wi-Fi router.
She pulled a Jod.
I would love
Do you know,
to
the
see
more I
John.
think about it, the more I worry that this is like a really shit rip-off of the lot.
It is actually. I didn't even think about that until it's like literally that kind of Jod-like.
Like, there's that, there's the whole lictory thing, there's like the two main characters who hate each other but actually love each other, except that in the Locked-In they do actually love each other.
Exactly. Actually well-written lesbians.
Oh god.
An obsession written very well in that, but in Gideon as well. Harrow, your obsession. Love it. Mwah. Love it.
Yeah.
It just missed the mark in so many places. It was just so annoying.
I'm not sure where the mark was supposed to be.
I was hoping.
I think that's my other
more.
problem with it, and
Yeah.
we will talk about this more further
Yeah.
down the list. But what was this book
Trying to
about?
do.
What was it trying to achieve?
I don't know.
What is the story? What is the plot? What is the moral? What is the point?
What is the moral? Do they have morals? I don't know why they're angry at each other.
Like, not every story has a moral. right?
Yeah.
But every story has like a reason for existing.
For being
Right? There is a
written.
reason
Yeah.
why authors write the stories they write.
Yeah.
Everybody writes something for a reason. What was the reason for this? As far as I can see, there is not one.
There
And
isn't one.
That is deeply frustrating to me that we are increasingly in a world where more and more books are written without a reason for them to really be written.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. It's, once again, it is the fast fashion kind of writing that's happening.
Yes.
And it's really annoying because it's like, it feels like there's not much like actual development at all in the stories, and it's like, oh, come on. Because like we know Zoe could do better writing with Godbreakers?
Yeah.
God Killers?
Gearbreakers.
Gearbreakers, thank you.
I liked Gearbreakers. I will say the sequel, God Killers, was less good. It wasn't this bad, but it was less good.
And I unhauled it quite recently. I gave it to someone else, but
yeah,
because I wasn't a huge fan, but I was still like better than this. So like you can write. So where was it? It just felt like a regression in actual writing.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably talk about more later because I had so many issues with this writing style. So many issues.
I will. I just want to be clear on something as well, because I know some people get ranty about this on the internet.
Yeah.
I have no issue whatsoever with the like queer people who are not just like
in love.
Yeah, and queer people who are not like perfect. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I do think that it's important to write like complicated and toxic queer characters. Yeah. I just want to put that out there because I know there's some people who get weird about this shit. I think it's important to have like imperfect, flawed, broken, toxic queer characters.
Absolutely.
I think that is good. This was bad. Right? Like, the toxicness in this isn't like, you know, actually useful. Right? Like, it's not examining any sort of real life thing. It's just people being assholes.
Yeah.
And, like, making a point about being assholes and being like, oh, we're so cool for being assholes. It's just, yeah. I just want to make that clear because I know some people get weird about like toxic queer characters and stuff.
No, I agree.
This is badly done toxic queer characters.
Yeah.
This is badly done everything. Nothing in this book is good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Zoe Hana Mikuta. This is a bad book.
And
you've not done it well.
You've missed the mark, and that's a shame.
You have.
But I think there's going to be a second one. I think.
What?
Isn't this supposed to be a duology?
Oh God!
We're not doing the second one.
No.
Oh God, no.
Not.
But didn't I read there was going to be a second one?
I don't fucking want there to be.
Hold on.
But probably. Oh no, this is a standalone.
Oh, is it a standalone? Okay, good. Okay, that brings me more joy. For some reason, I thought it was multiple books.
But I think she probably has more books
Possibly.
coming.
Okay, I've probably seen that instead.
Oh yeah, she's got one coming next year sometime.
Oh.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh wait, I think I showed you this one.
Did you? Hold on.
It's Victorian Gothics.
Oh,
type thing.
yeah. Wasn't the one that looked a bit
Yeah.
strange?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. Let's continue through Callpile, unless you've got anything else to say about the characters. I know we very quickly drifted off of characters there.
Not really. You kind of covered the bases. There was just no one I liked.
Yeah.
And it was just rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Atmosphere / world building.
4.
I gave this a 5.
Yeah.
On the following basis.
the glory.
I liked the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think the atmosphere was good, right? Like it felt
The
creepy.
vibe, yeah.
Wonderland felt creepy. It was like sufficiently, like you say, sort of gory and like fucked up.
Yeah.
That worked. The world building, there is none.
I
There
agree.
is no world building. They've just slapped an Alice in Wonderland thing on it.
Yeah.
And gone, that's world building. No.
It was spooky. Yeah. I liked like I liked Wonderland semi in the sense that it gave me like a creepy vibe when you were there.
I love that idea of, and it's, you know, something that's been in other things as
Yeah.
well, of like the creepy forest that you go into and it gets into you.
Yes.
And while you're in
You
there,
are
you go a little bit
obsessed.
mad.
Yes.
Right?
You are the forest.
Exactly. That sort of thing can be really good. And in this, it was not badly done.
Yeah.
It just didn't need to be Wonderland.
Yeah.
It could have just been, like, an original creation, fantasy forest.
This isn't like another like shove at like this could have just been Wonderland inspired, because I really like Korean inspired settings and stepping away from that westernized fantasy, but
Absolutely.
and yet because there was tons of Korean words thrown in there, which I loved, fantastic, breath of fresh air, and yet it just felt like you were trying to stick to Wonderland, but it just wasn't working, so you were moving away from the thing you originally wanted to write about.
Yeah.
It felt strange. Yeah.
I think if this had been like an original Korean-inspired fantasy, it would have been better.
It would have been much better.
But instead, what kind of you get is like a fantasy thing that's got like half a Korean thing slapped on it and half a Wonderland thing slapped on it. And it doesn't really feel like either.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's a like Korean-inspired Wonderland. It feels like they've just sort of occasionally throw in a Wonderland reference or occasionally throw in Korean words, or, like Korean cultural things. And I'm like, just commit to one or the other.
Yeah. Because
and I think you could do a Korean-inspired Alice in Wonderland thing really well, but this is not that.
Yeah.
I think this needed to be one of those two things.
And it was just teetering that line, and it just wasn't falling into either or.
Yeah.
Which was upsetting, because the blurb sounds really good, and yet...
It's such a great concept for a book, and such a poor execution of it. And I really do hope that I'm wrong, and that this was written just as this, and it wasn't written as like an actually original Korean-inspired fantasy thing, and that she was then suggested gently to like tone it down and slap a Wonderland skin on it to make it sellable.
Because that's
I really
upsetting.
hope that's not what's happened, because if that is what's happened, and I wouldn't be surprised because publishing, but if that is what happened, then that would be deeply upsetting. Because I think I would have enjoyed, even if nothing else changed about this book except for the names that were like Wonderland, I think I would have enjoyed it more.
I think so too. I think it was that Wonderland was holding it back.
If it was the exact same book, but you just replaced all of the Wonderland references with actual original stuff.
Content,
it would have been better, because I wouldn't have been spending the entire thing going, this isn't Alice in Wonderland.
We wouldn't be like sitting through the book like, when is this actually going to get Wonderland-esque?
Exactly.
But if it was sticking with the original avenue, we would feel more in the world at least, and not like kind of reading something we know we're not in.
I still don't think I would have enjoyed it.
Oh no,
like it still has issues that but I think it would have been better for being an original thing. And I really hope that it was written like this, because if it was written like this, then it's just bad. If it was written as something else and then this Wonderland thing was slapped over the top of it, that's potentially quite problematic.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
And like I say, it wouldn't surprise me that much.
No.
Publishing does not like racially diverse or like culturally diverse
stories.
Books.
Yeah.
Right? It's just it's how it is.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to blame this on publishing rather than on the author. But who knows? Only Zoe Hana Mikuta, and I suspect she couldn't tell us even if she wanted to.
Yeah. But to hope the next book's better. I don't know if it's going to be.
My worry is that it won't be, because the past two books she's written have been on a downwards trend.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
It is a shame.
Yeah.
But I know she can write well, because I did like Gearbreakers. I know she has it in her.
Yeah. There was
and I just hope that she's able to get back to that.
For sure.
Because, she deserves success.
Absolutely. Especially,
everybody's got a couple of dud books. Everybody's got a book that's just not their best, right?
Yeah. And this is just it.
And I hope that she can have more books that are successes, because
I agree. This is world building in it as well, right? I really liked the power system, I will say.
The magic?
In a sense. In the magic system. In a sense. I liked that the magic physically poured out of you. And that Hattie got a bloody nose whenever they used their power, or
I loved
you could
that.
see it. I really did enjoy that part of it. Which is, once again, this could have been, this feels like it was not Wonderland-esque, but that's probably why I liked it. I semi-enjoyed the powers. I remember carousels being crow possession.
That's just not a shock to me.
Well, it's all bird possession, is every single bird, because I know they do a pigeon at one point, and they didn't like it, but like crows better, which I do agree.
I think it's like she prefers the crow.
She prefers the crow.
But I think she can do other birds.
Nice. I did enjoy that. I did enjoy Ikka's like darkness manipulation.
Like shadow magic.
Big fan.
I love shadow magic.
Me too.
In pretty much any form. Always a fan of that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
I liked the kind of thing of like Hattie being able to like stitch two creatures together.
I enjoyed that as a power. But
But she also has this weird thing where she can like control people as well.
That was my thought.
And I'm like, where did that come from?
Was it the combination of the daughter-mother powers, or was it
Maybe.
like her just being? Is it the term Mary Sue? I can never remember. Being a bit overpowered.
Yeah.
Or they've just like slapped so many powers on her, and just never explained it. But
I did really like the magic in this.
For the most part, I really like the magic.
And I agree with what you said about being able to see the magic, like, when people use magic, it, like, leaks out of them.
Yeah,
right?
I enjoyed that.
And I liked as well that everybody's magic, it looks different as well. So, like, Hattie's is all, like,
blood
red sort of colour, and Caro's is, like, I think it gets described as, like, sort of galaxy-ish. Like, it's got that, like, blue with, like, bright flickers through it. And Ikka's is, like, black silver, I think. I love that sort of thing. I think that's a really cool way
Everyone
to, like,
has their own like essence, which I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I like the powers that they've got. Like you say, I love that we see them change as well, right? Like in the early parts of their, because the book jumps about a lot in time, which we'll talk about when we get to writing. But like in the bits where they are younger, we see that Ikka can like move them through shadows a little bit, and can like do some like magic using shadows and stuff, and that Caro can like control like a crow to like dive bomb somebody or something. And as they get stronger, like into the later bit of the book where it's more consistently like further on in time, we see that Ikka is able to like use the dark bits inside of somebody's fucking organs to like blow them up from the fucking inside.
Yeah.
Caro is able to like control like a whole fucking swarm of crows.
That was cool.
Like, all at once and
dive
get
bomb.
them to do like like big coordinated things. And she's able, because like there's points earlier on where if the crow that she's in like dies, she like feels it and it makes her really sick.
Yeah.
But then later on when they die, she's able to just like switch into another crow much more fluidly. I like that we see that
development,
that progression, that they've got more powerful. That it feels like in the time that they spent in Wonderland and then just after Wonderland, like hunting saints or whatever, you can feel that they have gained proficiency, right? They've become better at their powers.
Absolutely.
I like that. I think that was well done.
I agree.
I love that sort of thing.
Me
where
too.
You can see that somebody
physical
has
growth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even if they have no fucking character development.
Yeah, that you may not have a personality, but at least you can do magic. So
at least their magic has developed, even if their characters haven't. Yeah.
You may be cruel and vicious monsters or whatever, but at least you vicious and cruel creatures.
Well, gives me like an icky shiver down my spine sort of thing, you know?
Oh god, yeah. Every time I read that line.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not good.
But I did like the magic. I think that was a strong part of sort of world building, I guess.
That was my highlight. I don't think there was a lot of world building.
Like, we get a lot of place names that get mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, we get like province names that are mentioned or place names that are mentioned, but no development to them.
Yeah.
We get like told that Wonderland exists and that is this world. Like, I don't know about you, but I could not in my head picture what the layout of this area of this world looks like.
Yeah, no, that was what I was going to mention. This could really have used a map.
Really could have used a map.
Why was there not a map?
That all of the like towns and cities and provinces and stuff have walls between them and Wonderland.
Yeah.
And that Petra, which is the capital, has the labyrinth which like extends into Wonderland.
Yes.
I think. Or has Wonderland in it. So
I think so.
I don't know. But there's also like trains that go through Wonderland.
Also, why was there trains? I didn't think there was any technology and then suddenly there was a train.
Exactly.
I was confused by the train. Or was it like a cable car?
Or like a you know, like old fashioned like sort of steam train type train.
Yeah, but even then,
but it's just not clear.
Yeah,
and I agree. I think a map would have done wonders.
What? Wonders. Sorry.
No. Oh yeah. Like, what?
Accidental pun.
I think a map definitely would have helped.
Yeah.
Being able to actually physically see where that town that they come from is and where the capital is and how it all connects up, I think would have done would have helped. Because in the writing itself, it is not clear where anything is in relation to each other.
Because suddenly it's the same with like Red Scholar's Wake where they were walking, not Red Scholar's Wake, Crier's Warp, when they were walking down a corridor. It was like suddenly they were in a cable car and I'm like, what? You're in a cable car? You're in a train? Huh? Where are you? Where are you going? And they didn't seem to know themselves. And there was like graffiti everywhere. I did enjoy the subtle graffiti mention. I think there was. But yeah, I don't understand when it was set at all. Even though it gave us like dates and stuff in the chapters.
It's just not clear what it's supposed to
be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
enjoy it.
I didn't think the world building was present, let alone strong enough.
No.
But I did like the magic, and I did think that the vibes, the like creepy, yucky vibes, were good.
The only last comment about it is I just don't really know where, once again, how Wonderland ties into it. All I know about the world is how it treats criminals that murder people, fake murder as well. And I just think a lot more world building could have gone into it, which is a shame.
Yeah. So like we vaguely get glimpses of this thing where if you kill somebody, you get like a death trace, which is like a thing, like an actual thing that's like on your soul or whatever.
Yeah. That you can physically see.
You're banished to Wonderland, where you have to kill
4 saints?
You have 4.
Yeah, 4.
Oh, I thought you said 40.
Oh no, 40's a lot.
4 saints, I see. Yeah, you have to bring the heads of 4 saints to the capital city, and then the queen like removes the death trace from you, and you're free to go and be
another power I didn't understand.
You're free to go and do whatever the fuck you want as apparently a Jabberwocky. But I think it would have been interesting if there had been more exploration of how that sort of works.
Yeah.
Like what the death trace is, where it came from, how it works, how people...
How Harry is able to take it off of people.
Yeah, just like a bit more sort of investigation into that.
Yeah.
Because the thing with Ika and Caro is that a saint attacks their friend's house and kills their friend's family, and they turn up and they think they see it kill their friend, but in fact she's just like really badly injured.
Yeah.
And they both like fucking unleash their powers to destroy this saint, and in the process, apparently, basically like finish off their friend. Right? Like she would have lived if they hadn't done that, supposedly.
Doesn't she die in the cart on the way back?
Yes, but she dies with traces of their magic on her.
Oh,
so that's what gives them the death trace, right? Because like they
were
like exploded their magic
some
everywhere.
of their Vavavum.
And they discover that she could have lived
had they not
been able to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's why they get like sentenced to fucking death or whatever. But I do think an exploration of like the quote unquote justice system
Yeah.
There was potential there for development, proper development of, like, their motivation of, like, this is why... Because Ika keeps saying, this is why I want to kill the Queen, because, you know, she unjustly sentenced us to fucking Wonderland, basically.
But did
right?
she?
Well,
she
it's more like,
anything.
you know, but she's the one who let the saint get out, or it was her. She brought the saint to their town as part of the, like, annual festival.
Yeah.
And then that's the saint that gets out and goes and kills their friend. And so Ika blames the Queen for their friend's death.
Yeah.
And as she sees it, they were unjustly sent to Wonderland because they didn't really actually kill their friend.
Yeah.
It was really the saint that did most of the killing. But this is what I'm saying, right? It's like, there could have been a proper thing there.
Yeah.
But it's never very well done. And Ika just keeps saying, this is why I want to kill her. But also, like, as far as Ika's concerned for most of the book, that Queen, dead.
Yeah.
And it's her daughter who is now the Queen. And it's not until near the end of the book that Ika realises that they've, like, melded or whatever.
Yeah.
So it is just weird that she's just like, oh, well, that Queen's dead, but I'll just kill her daughter.
I'll just kill the daughter, because, you know, she must be as badass, you know?
I think you could have done an exploration of, like, the justice system and, like, the fact that it was, like, unjust and properly developed that instead of just not really developing it and then having Ika repeatedly say it.
Yeah. I'm going to kill her because I miss my friend. Like, sure, yeah. Great. Give us more?
Or if there'd been some, like...
bigger thing.
Some evidence or some indication that the saint had got away because the Queen had allowed it to happen.
Like on purpose. That would have made more sense.
That would have been more interesting. Instead of just, we never, ever discover exactly how that saint ended up in their friend's house. And I think if you had some indication that the Queen had allowed it to happen, or that the Queen had caused it deliberately to happen, or that the Queen just incompetently happened to, you know, I think that would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't happen.
I agree.
And we just get Ika being like, I'm going to kill the Queen.
I'm going to kill her.
And then she discovers the Queen's dead. She's like, oh, well, fuck it. I'm going to kill the Queen's daughter.
I'm going to kill the Queen anyway. It's like, no.
So,
she's just a kid. She was like the same age as them. I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah. We've accidentally, I think, slipped into plot.
Well, we skipped over writing style entirely.
Oh my god, writing style.
Writing style.
I forgot about writing style.
I know you always do, because you think the W stands for
I
world
always
building.
think it stands for world building. That's why I had to ask if this category had world building in it. I
Writing
always
style.
forget. Writing style.
I gave writing style a 2.
Same! Yay!
I hated the stupid...
Narrator.
Confusing time jumping and the narrator.
And the narrator.
Yes.
I hated both.
The way that the time jumping works is really annoying.
Yeah.
And part of it is due to the formatting of the book.
Yeah.
Because the chapter titles are actually, there's quite a big, like, gap on the page between the chapter title where it says what year it is and the start of the chapter.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody like me and your eyes move quite fast when you're reading, right? Like you read quite quickly.
I just skip over it.
You forget. You have to keep going back and be like, what year am I in?
Or like...
And that's fine.
Yeah.
You can do time jumping in a good way. It is possible. It has been done. But you have to do it in a way that people can tell.
Yeah. Like, at least make it like a bigger font or right before the chapter. Not a huge gap where it says, this is the year, chapter, whatever, and then it starts. Like, no, I will skip over that. Because I'll just assume it's the same year as the chapter before. Because I won't notice.
I didn't like it, and
I don't like it either.
I don't think it was implemented well, and I think it could have been.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Because time jumps do work. They do in other books. And yet, for some reason, this is just... It just didn't make sense. There was multiple times. I think the first thing I mentioned to you about before you read it was just check when everything is.
Yeah.
Because I had gotten to chapter 4 and was like, I thought we were still in the past. Why are they in Wonderland?
I'm very glad you did say that to me.
Why are they in the forest? No.
Because there's it's sort of primarily broken into three chunks
time
of time.
period. Yeah.
There's when they're kids and like the run up to and just immediate aftermath of their friend dying. There is a year after that when they are in Wonderland. And simultaneously happening to that, there's that same year, but we get bits of Hattie, which is when the Queen, her mother, dies. And then there's 4 years after that, which is the, like, quote-unquote present day, when Ikko's trying to kill Hattie.
But then I think we get, like, the far future. I think we get the far future glimpse in, like, chapter 3 or something. And I was like, give them a gap. At least, like, introduce one timeline before you introduce a second one. At least, and not at least one that's, like, eons ahead of the one you're currently in.
It was just weird.
Yeah. I don't like it.
And there was also...
Narrator.
The narrator.
Fucking narrator. I love a book when it's like it knows it's telling a story and it like says like stuff to the reader like like you should know this blah 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 or it like physically says my dear reader. Why did I hate this one so much? It makes quips about the situation, but it bounced around different years, past and present. Oh god, I was very confused. Yeah. I like when it's like self-actualized and it knows that it's the storyteller. Who was the narrator? Do we know?
I don't think we know.
I don't think we found out.
No.
That would have been good to find out.
I think
because
part of my issue was that we don't know who the narrator is. And that can be fine, but it doesn't. But also my other issue is that it doesn't feel like it's being narrated to you. Right? No. It reads just like a normal book, and then every so often, randomly, there's like a little bit where you're like, oh yeah, this is a narrator.
And it's like, no.
It'll be like, at the start of a chapter, it'll be like, oh, dear reader, this happened. And then we'll get a big chunk of stuff that just doesn't read like it's being narrated to us. Right? It's just like, we're just reading, and then
feels like
we'll have like a sentence-long narrator in like bit where the narrator's just like interjecting and then it just continues and I just don't think it was done well. I think if you're gonna have a narrator, you've got to commit to having a narrator.
Exactly.
You can't have them turn up every now and then and seemingly be telling the whole thing but they're not. I think you could have it that there's like occasionally a sort of narrator character interjects but the rest of it is very clearly not the narrator.
Or like footnote things. I love a footnote.
Exactly. But I think the issue with this is that I think we're meant to think that the whole thing is being told to us by this narrator.
It doesn't feel like it.
But it doesn't feel like it.
Because I liked the occasional... There was one thing I did like about the narrator, is I occasionally made like quips and jokes about the situation that they were in.
Exactly.
Big fan of that. It was a story that made fun of itself. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
And yet... I just found it kind of unfunny, and also it didn't make sense for the time, especially because it was bouncing around the timelines.
Yeah,
and it was just like, but I was like, no, it knew things before you, and it was very like didn't sit right with the story. Like, introduce yourself and like give it that whimsical storytelling.
I think if it just
like narrative, but it didn't have it. I'm making little wavy motions with my hands.
Like it had actually earned or developed having a narrator.
Yeah.
It just, every so often you're just like, oh, right, narrator. It just like...
Oh, right, you exist.
Keeps being like, oh, narration, by the way, narrator. Oh, narrator's interjecting. And I'm like, oh, God, again?
No, not again. Go away.
Commit or don't do it. Don't half-ass it.
Exactly.
If you're going to have a narrator, it needs to feel like the narrator is actually telling the story. Or it needs to feel like the narrator is... There's like a story happening and every so often the narrator is like consciously interjecting into the story. Right? You can do that too. Like, you can have it be like the story's just being told and there's like almost like a second voice that is the narrator that occasionally is like interjects, right? Or like corrects something. That can work. What this was not either of those things. It was just bad.
Like, if like my favorite thing is if like they say one thing happened on the page and you're like, but this wasn't how I felt in that situation. It was like, oh, that's cool. They're in the story too.
Yeah.
But they weren't. We didn't know who they were.
Yep.
I do like when we don't know it, but also I would have been like, oh, you're the narrator? It would have made more sense.
I think having a narrator where you don't know who the narrator is works really well when there's multiple people that the narrator could be.
could be.
And
yes,
you're spending
exactly.
the book being like, which one of you is
Who
the
could
narrator?
it be?
Right?
And it's like a mystery in the mystery,
Exactly.
and it's fun.
I think that
but
can be really fun because you're like, I know it's one of you. I know it's one of these characters. It has to be somebody who's involved in the story, and I'm trying to work out who it is at the same time as trying to read the rest of the story. That can be fun.
I know one of you can't write, so...
But
one of you literally can't read.
when the narrator is just
to.
like a nameless, formless, external entity who doesn't seem to be connected to anything, it means nothing.
Yeah.
And especially when the narrator is half given a personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've not committed, and yet...
Yeah. It was really annoying, and it kept taking me out of what little narrative there was.
Yeah. I was yearning for any twists.
Speaking of, shall we move into plot now?
I think we should.
I gave plot a 1.
I gave plot a 3. I do not stand by that anymore.
What I've written for this
I don't think there was any.
Was there even a plot?
Was there a plot? I don't think so.
I think there's supposed to be, but I think it just doesn't. It wasn't well done, so it doesn't.
I think
feel
there was
like
an
there
attempt
is
at a plot.
Yeah.
But not well done.
The plot. I think the issue is that there's not like. It doesn't fundamentally feel like from the start of the book to the end of the book anything has actually changed.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no development
The book
of anything.
ends with Hattie still being the queen, Caro still being insane, Ika still being insane, they all still hate each other and apparently also love each other. That's
Don't
it.
understand that. I mean, Kai had development. He just went slightly madder, and that was it. He's just in the dungeons now. They've just left him there.
Fundamentally, nothing about the world or about the characters is really that different. And that, to me, means that there wasn't enough of a plot. Because if your book has started and ended with basically the status quo, what was the point of me reading it? You know?
If
something's meant to happen over the course of the book. You're not meant to end your story in the same place that you started it. Like, with everything being fundamentally the same.
Especially if this is a standalone.
Yes. Yes. And especially because this is supposedly, like, you know, like a Alice in Wonderland style, like, abstract, silly, like, weird humour, not humour, weird horror, like, thing. Yeah. It's supposed to be that, so there should be something that's different. There should be
a message at the end as well of someone realising something, because that's what happens in the original tale. She realises something about herself.
Because the whole thing of Alice in Wonderland is that, like, fundamentally Alice after the thing is a different. She's changed, right? Because
she's changed.
So, to have literally nothing be different. I mean, there are things that are different, but it doesn't. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's it's bad.
It was just nonsensical, and
like
there was not enough.
Yeah.
Build up or any actual stakes. There just didn't seem. Well, there was stakes, but I didn't feel like oh, great, I need to keep reading. So this and happens. There was just a lack of actual like plot points. That messed with the overall story, and then just nothing. There was no payoff to the 400 pages that we've just read. You want your reader to have that kind of satisfying payoff at the end, but we just didn't have it.
Yeah. Ugh. Exactly. There's no payoff to any of it.
Anything. And it's just
and it's not nonsensical in the way that, like, you know, Alice in Wonderland is nonsensical, right? Like, the whole point of a lot of Lewis Carroll's writing is that it's literary nonsense, right? That's what he did.
Yeah. That's what it's meant to be.
You can do that well. This isn't that.
This is
nonsensical in that there is no sense to it.
Yeah. There's no sense in the things that are happening. That aren't happening.
Exactly. It's just empty.
Mm-hmm. Which is a shame.
Yeah. Okay. Intrigue?
2.
I gave Intrigue a 1 again.
I finished it.
I also finished it. I kept reading because I wanted to talk about it here, and I wanted to be able to, you know, know what
Yeah.
happened at the end, not for any, I want to know what happens to these characters reason, but because I wanted to be able to shit on it respectfully.
Yeah.
Zoe Hana Mikuta.
I think you could write better work, Zoe. I'm so sorry, but this just wasn't it. This just wasn't it.
Yeah.
I didn't care enough. I didn't care about anyone at the end.
Yeah, well, I didn't care
Or at the
about any
beginning.
of them at the start either.
And me neither.
Like, it does
I
not do
thought
a good
Tekka
job
was
at
throwaway.
the start of the book of making you want to care about the characters.
Yeah. I love a school setting. Give us more. I wanted more of the school.
Yeah.
Okay? You were in class for a chapter. It didn't feel like you were, and suddenly you were in the forest. That didn't make sense. But also, give me more class. I love a class. But there wasn't any. Give us more prequel of what happened before. That would have made me care more.
Yeah. It could have almost been... You could have had like a Wicked style, like, this is the story behind the characters who end up in the Wizard of Oz, right? Like, that's what,
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah.
this is the fucking Wicked Witch and Glinda the Good Witch when they're at school, right? Like,
Yeah.
you almost could have done that, but no.
Yeah. That you could have made it so much more interesting over, like, maybe not Jabberwocky, the saint was let loose in the school. Dun dun dun. Or something.
Yeah.
Or there was a whole mystery about the school and maybe, I don't know. But it would have made more sense to me than whatever the fuck happened.
Yeah. There was
You needed to narrow down the locations.
There was nothing in this that made me want to keep reading it, right?
Yeah.
The characters didn't make me want to care about them. There wasn't enough of a plot to hook me. The world wasn't developed enough for me to be like, oh, this is such a fascinating world, I want to learn more about it. The only reason I finished this book was because I'm doing this. Like, if I'd been reading that book for, like, my own pleasure, I would have stopped, like, 50 pages in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we didn't enjoy it, so why would you continue reading?
Yeah.
Big advocate for a DNF.
Yes.
Love a DNF.
If you were planning to read this book, don't. If you like the books that we like and didn't like the books that we didn't like, don't read this one.
Then don't read it. We should probably put, like, disclaimers out now, like, you don't need to read it this month.
Okay.
Oh god.
Logic. I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 4. It was semi-sound.
Yep. There weren't
in the magic system.
There weren't, like, plot holes as such. It's because there wasn't a plot for there to be holes in.
Yeah.
I think the magic system was fine.
Yeah. I like the magic mainly because of the gruesomeness of it, but I just wanted more body horror and icky stuff. But there wasn't.
There was no character motivation.
Yeah,
right? There was no plot consistency. But it wasn't like it was a plot with no consistency. There just wasn't a plot or any consistency. There was no character motivations. There wasn't anything for me to fault the logic of because there wasn't anything.
So there was no logic in those time jumps.
You can't fault the logic of something that doesn't exist.
Time travel.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I don't have anything more to say about that. We've talked a lot about the magic system already. I think the magic system was fine.
Yeah.
I think again, if this had been like an original fantasy world,
it would have been much better,
and it could have been much better. And instead we got this.
Yeah. Enjoyment?
1.
I give it a 2, but I'd probably go down to a 1 now.
And what I've written under enjoyment is I didn't.
I didn't
enjoy.
Just no. Did not enjoy it.
There wasn't anything. I didn't enjoy. Like, there was nothing in this that I was like, oh, I enjoyed that. I thought the magic was interesting. I thought the magic system was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it was massively let down by every other aspect of the book.
It was also very white room, where, like, you're in just a blank space and you don't know where you are half the time.
There's not a lot of, like, description of what the world looks like. And
that annoyed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially that fucking tea scene. I never actually mentioned it before.
Yes.
I meant to implot, but the fucking
The tea party.
The tea party. Hated it. Why were they let her in?
Because she's a Jabberwocky.
Why would they
she
do
has
that?
That was the whole thing, is that the Queen likes the Jabberwockies and lets all the Jabberwockies go to the tea party.
If you know they're planning to kill you,
I don't think
and would probably going to kill you there. No, they probably did.
Well,
because
but also,
of Carol
I think
telling them.
it's kind of part of, such as it is, the character of the Queen, is that she knows that fucking Ika can try. Right? Like, I think that's probably more what it is that Hattie knows that Ika's going to try and kill her, right? But she's like, she's not going to succeed. She knows there is no way that Ika can kill her. Yeah. So I think it's probably a power play. She's like, oh, let her in, let her try, and then she'll see how powerless she is against me.
I would have loved her to actually have said that.
Exactly.
And not for me to be like, why the
We shouldn't have to like
let her in?
extrapolate it out of tiny little smidgens of plot.
Yeah. Dear God.
Yeah.
Let's go into stuff we actually
Yes.
like and would recommend if you did or did not like this book.
I could only
Because
think
there
of
are better books.
Well, I mean, there's lots of better books, but
There's lots of
the only
better
book
books.
that I could think of to recommend that has vaguely similar vibes to this was Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White, because that's also got like
Beautiful.
like this sort of monster person, monstrous
Body
horror-y, like teenagers who are a bit fucked up doing kind of fucked up things, like. But in a less piss-annoying edgelord way. So read that. It's genuinely fantastic.
It is really
It's like
good.
a really solid book.
And we've mentioned it quite a few times here. Because
do go on
immaculate.
his website and look at the content warnings first.
Trigger warnings.
Though, because
Yes.
there is some shit in that.
yes.
So yeah, make sure you know what you're
I agree.
getting into.
Yeah. Because there is many.
Yes. And especially if you're going to read his second book.
Yeah.
The Spirit Bears Its Teeth.
Unfortunately.
Also
no.
very good, but definitely make sure you've read because again, it's fucked up. It's really well written.
Almost
but
ordered it, then
fucked up.
saw trigger warnings I couldn't do.
No,
So
that's fair.
I love
think that is appropriate.
I love when authors just tell you straight up.
Honestly, true.
Do not read it if you do not like the shit.
Especially when they tell you the content warnings somewhere not in the front page of the book. I think it's great to put it in the front page of the book, right? So if you picked it up off a shelf in a bookshop, you're like, oh, maybe not. But I think it's also really important to put it on things like websites or social media, because then people who are considering the book don't go and buy the book and then start reading it and go, oh shit, this has got content warnings that I don't want to see. So,
Yeah, because I think the top on Goodreads, if you're going to Goodreads, the Andrew Joseph White's page review comes up first, and it's all the trigger warnings. It's not much else; it's just trigger warnings, and I find that great.
That is
because I think he's also put it on Storygraph as well.
Bears its teeth.
Nice.
Oh, go away, Goodreads. No, I don't want to fucking sign up.
I'm slowly getting to the fact I will delete Goodreads one day.
Oh yeah.
Because I just like Storygraph better.
It's just better. Yeah.
It's a superior service.
It is.
This is not sponsored, but go make a Storygraph.
No, but it's Storygraph if you want to sponsor us.
I would love for you to sponsor us, Storygraph.
We're not going to say no.
Love you. We would say yes.
In fact, if anybody wants to sponsor
I'd do an
us,
ad
we
read.
might say no to some people, but
yeah,
you could try.
You can try.
Money, please.
Money. I would. Yeah. This.
Anyway,
email in there.
Yeah, Hell Followed With Us. But,
I agree.
But do check the content warnings because they are very relevant.
Mine was Wilder Girls by Rory Power. If you've ever thought about it, it is a school that is being put under quarantine because this thing called the Tox hit. And so all of the students are getting kind of fucked up and are like, some of them are growing an extra limb, or the main character's getting a flower being grown inside of them, and so their eyes popped out.
Nice.
It's creepy as hell. It's very body horror-esque, and it's an isolated island. There's monsters on the island, and they were being shipped like supplies from the mainland because they're on a tiny secluded island, and then suddenly it all just stops.
Oh.
So they don't know if the rest of the world has died or not. It's so fun.
I loved it a lot. Remember seeing the cover. Like, I'm looking at the cover and I'm like, I remember seeing this places, you know?
I'm pretty sure I read this during quarantine, so it probably wasn't
fun
the
times.
best literature to have been reading, but you know, I was in the mood for some horror. I had a fun time. It's definitely weird and fucked up, and I believe it has lesbians in it as well. It's been a while since I read it. It's 2024. It's been a while.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, the year.
Spoilers for when we're recording this. Jeez.
We're recording this in 2024. No way. Did you have anything else?
I did not. I've tried.
That's fair.
I've really tried to think of literally anything that I would recommend.
That's okay.
Just don't read this, please.
Don't read this. I had one more, and that was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher.
Oh yeah.
Which is the Edgar Allan Poe's retelling of the fall of the House of Usher. It's a really. I'll just tell the basic plot of Fall of the House of Usher. It's a fucked up little house called the House of Usher because it's owned by the Usher family, and Madeline
Usher the rapper.
It's not Usher the rapper. No.
That's all I think of every time I see that book. I'm just like, I love the idea that this is like something about Usher the rapper.
This is Victorian era Usher the rapper. Madeline is very unwell, and her brother Roderick is also very unwell, and there's things that they say they can hear within the house. It's very psychological. It's a short one. You can either read the classic one, which I recommend as well. Love that book. It's very, very short. Or the retelling by T. Kingfisher, which is a vibe. It's so good, with Alex Easton, a retired soldier, as the main character. I love them.
There's also a TV show, right, recently?
No, don't watch that.
Okay.
Don't do it. It's a modern version of it.
Okay.
I disagree with it. I gave up after episode 2. I couldn't do it.
So don't do the TV show, guys.
Don't do the TV show. Because it's just so much murder. It's like more of a murder mystery than Follow the House of Usher. So I was like, where is it? Once again, like this book, where was Edgar Allan Poe? Where was my man? I think there's like one crow sighting and it's in the background. And I'm like, come on, guys. But anyway, yeah, that was this book. That was this. Hopefully we'll have a better time next month.
Well, we're definitely going to.
We're good. We're definitely going to.
Next month's book cannot possibly fail us.
Yeah.
Because we both read it before.
Mayhaps know we like it, yeah.
We have cheated just a little bit for next month. Because after this book, we decided we wanted something that we know we're going to be able to rate positively.
Yeah.
And also we thought, you know what? I think it's okay to break the rule of like books we've never read before.
Yeah.
We're going for...
We've not read it in a while.
It's been years.
I've not read it in ages. Yeah. It has been so long.
We're going to read The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett.
Yay!
I love Terry Pratchett so
Me too.
fucking much. He's one of my absolute favourite authors. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And I love The We Free Men. It's one of my favourites. I love that whole series. The Discworld, but also specifically the Tiffany Aching books.
The Wee Free Men. Tiffany Aching is just such a cozy read.
So we're bucking the trend. we're reading something that we've both read.
We're
before.
like, no, we want something good.
We want something that we can trust to not be shit.
And Terry Pratchett is never shit unless it's Colour of Magic, which I didn't like.
The Colour of Magic, what I would say in its defence, is that it's not shit. It's just weird.
It's just strange. I didn't realise it was short stories when I read it originally.
Well, kind of.
It's semi-short stories. Is it? It's been a while. Once again, it's been a while.
It's just sort of interconnected adventures. What I would say is that if you're going to start reading Discworld, do not start with The Colour of Magic.
Don't start there.
Skip ahead.
Start here.
And then go back. and read The Colour of Magic
Yeah.
once you're a bit more secure in reading this world. Because
I had made the mistake of starting at Colour of Magic,
the first couple are
not good.
they're not his strongest work. I will put it like that. But
they're still good.
And I think it puts a lot of people off, and it's such a shame because there's some really fantastic books in there.
Yeah. What was my favourite? My favourite was the one with the bank.
Making Money.
Making Money. Mail Time, the first one in that series as well. Delightful.
Going Postal.
Copy. Yeah, Going Postal. It's tabbed and annotated to hell. It's so good.
I do love that that series.
It's so delightful.
They're fantastic. Because there's Going Postal and there's Making Money, and then there's one about trains. Raising Steam.
Yeah.
And is there another one, or did I imagine that?
I think there's only 3, so let's see.
I think there's just the 3.
There's just the 3.
Yes.
It's literally just a little war criminal and his...
Yes, it is just the 3. Going Postal, Making Money,
back.
Raising Steam.
Yeah. But we are reading...
Yeah, we're going to be reading
Tiffany
The Wee
Aching,
Freeman,
which is delightful, about a young witch.
Who isn't a witch to begin with.
Who is not,
she's a
frying
young
pan.
shepherd's daughter. She works on her family's farm. And
she's a milkmaid.
Brother gets kidnapped by fairies.
Yeah.
And she has to go and rescue him. With the help of the titular Wee Free Men, who are a bunch of tiny Scottish blue
men.
people. And I love them all so fucking much.
I
cannot wait to reread it. It's been so long.
Right. I started my reread yesterday. I'm having a blast.
I'm so good.
Having so much fun.
I was just after this one, we were both just like, it needs to be something definitely good. So we've cheated. We've set ourselves up for success next month.
Yeah.
And if you rate it anything lower than a 10, Eve, I will kill you.
Damn, okay.
That's a joke. I will kill you in Minecraft. In Minecraft, people. In Minecraft. I wouldn't kill a person.
You'll Minecraft kill me. You'll take off
I'll re-enable PvP.
PvP and murder me. That's okay. That's not okay. Keep inventories not on.
And also, in August, a couple of weeks from now, we will have a Talking in the Tavern episode about graphic novels.
Woo! Which we planned.
Should we say which graphic novels we're planning to read so people can read them if they want?
Might as well.
There's no harm.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about 3 graphic novels. We're not going to compile them because that would take too long and doesn't really work. But we're going to talk about 3 different graphic novels and just sort of discuss them and have a wee chat.
Our highlights, what we think, our general thoughts. We are going to be reading. I haven't written down the authors' names.
No, but I can't even find where we. Oh, there they are.
Oh, it's at the top.
At the top. I see.
Next to do.
So
I made a heading.
I know.
You can jump about.
You can't expect me to read things.
That's fair. I mean, I can't read things either, and I had to read the intro. And we know how long it takes for me to do an intro.
So yeah, we're going to be reading The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill.
Yay! My favourite.
We're going to be reading
graphic novel.
Sad Ghost Club Book 1 by Liz Meddings. And we're going to be reading Saga Volume 1, or Issues 1 to 6, by Brian K. Vaughan. So we're going to read all 3 of those, and then come back and talk about them, and talk about other graphic novels as well. But we thought we'd sort of pick 3
give general recommendations.
And then go from there. Because we both love graphic novels, and we don't get to talk about them enough on this show.
Exactly.
Because they don't really work for Compile.
Yeah. We had tried to figure out if we could put one in for Compile and couldn't.
Yeah, I think it would be too fatty to try and make Compile work with like the format of a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So yeah, graphic novels.
Next best thing.
Yeah, you're getting a whole episode about them. Talking in the Tavern.
Yeah.
About graphic novels. We cannot wait. August is going to be a good excited. Month. Graphic novels gonna be great. And Terry Pratchett.
Love
It's going to be a successful month.
It's going to fall vibe, even though it's technically supposed to be summer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it already feels like it's fucking autumn.
It does feel like fun. I've put a jumper on today.
Mid-July, and the weather feels like it's fucking September.
I'm so cold. All the time. Even yesterday was meant to be like 22 and it was like 7.
Miserable.
So cold. It was miserable. Anyway.
I think that's everything.
I think that's us.
Yeah. Don't read this book.
Yeah.
Read better books.
Don't read this book. Read the books we talked about and the graphic novels.
Got 3 graphic novels and a Terry Pratchett book to read.
Exactly. And those are better.
All of those are better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we will see you in a couple of weeks for Talking in the Tavern, and in a month for Book Club.
Thank you for joining us here at the Tavern. Phoenix, where can our listeners find you outside the podcast?
They can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, or Instagram, all under Beans and Fungi. What about you, Eve?
And you can find me under Cozy Crow with an S and not a Z on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
And of course, make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at Hearth and Tome Pod, Twitter at Hearth and Tome, and TikTok at hearth.and.tome to keep up to date with all the goings on here at the tavern.
Yeah.
Woo! Bye!
Bye!
The music used in this episode was Midnight Tale by Kevin MacLeod through Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license.